I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, Tom Bates.
Yep.
Alan Donaldson. Andrew Clemens is absent. Cindy Clemens is absent. Candy White.
I'm here, but my hands are cold.
Public comments?
No, I got one. UVA is still up and functional. It was a miscommunication. One of the members is retiring, and part of Iowa is washing their hands of part of that person who's retiring is doing. So it is still functional, still running, strong. So
So who's the president and vice president?
I'm guessing Diana Haywood and Deanna Bowe. I don't really know. Them and Stephen Cindy Cox would be your contacts right now.
All right, make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There we go. Discuss an action, we're gonna skip number one. Okay. Number two, consider loan for derecho damage. I called Hardin County today. I talked to the guy up here.
Rick?
Is that it? I
No,
can't-
that's the insurance
Oh,
guy.
that's insurance guy.
Jeff, yeah. We told him we'd need at least 250,000. He wants our profit and losses sheets. No problem. We'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the annual financial report. So that's where we stand with that. Alan did talk to Heart of Iowa, and they said that they would help, correct?
No.
They have to talk to the board. Yeah.
Help with what?
Part of Iowa does, they've loaned out money in the past for different things, but they don't typically loan the full amount. It's if the bank says they'll give you 70%, they have filled in on the backside, given the extra 30 to fill the loan in. They're typically not the first lender, but he had to run it past his board when I talked to them. Their meeting's next week. And then Brian said he would get back to me. They did it to Albion to help tear down the school at Albion. They haven't done it for several years, I guess, so we'll see.
So, I don't know, do you want me to contact any other banks? Or do you want me to just keep it here local?
How much interest are they
I
gonna
think
charge?
it's fine. I think you
Well,
gotta
we-
talk to the people.
We were gonna do pay the interest for a year, and then we have a meeting with Region 6 to find out how to learn a little bit more about bond levies, right? Yeah.
Go bonds or
Yeah.
general obligation.
Yeah, so, but if, I can call, Conrad, you want me to
I
call
would
both of them?
certainly shop around, I think.
What else is in Eldora? Greenbelt? Okay.
Oh, no, there's there's a credit union and there's some Great Western.
Great Western, that's what we make.
So I don't know. if
And then there's another
bank-
one too,
The credit union. So there's Greenbelt, Hardin County, and that Great Western, and that credit
Okay.
union. So, hard to tell.
Okay.
Yeah, this Region 6, they probably got some options too.
Yeah, that's why he wants to sit down and visit with us and tell us. But we thought maybe if we did a year loan, and just pay on the interest, then hopefully FEMA will come through and, yeah. So,
And if they don't, then you just take out
Another year?
Yeah.
whatever loan,
Yeah.
yeah, however long it needs to be.
yeah. We have to decide too that, do we want to revote for the lost funds, the lost tax? And give up the pool and put that money somewhere else, or, you know, what is that, next year? Can we do that this year?
Well, no,
Can you vote
there's another,
on November?
yeah, there's another vote in November. I don't know who circles around this time, but,
Next November.
yeah.
This
I mean,
coming.
it's coming
This
November.
coming, yeah. I lost a year.
Yeah.
I thought we just did it, but evidently we didn't.
So anyway, that's where that's at. So I will call other banks then, and it probably won't be till Thursday, but
And that would be, we might need to help with somebody on that too, in which way. I don't know, the community, if they want any input on that, they should,
on the,
on the pool. I mean, they voted for the last
Yeah.
money and they'd have to vote to change it.
Would there have to be a public hearing for that as far as, or just until it's on the docket to do?
I think anybody can put it up on the ballot to be there. It has to go to the ballot to be voted on.
Yeah.
Right, but before it goes on the ballot, does there have to be a?
I would assume
public-
you want a public hearing here, yeah.
Yeah, just as a, if nothing else, as a courtesy or just to get a feel?
See how many people show up for a public hearing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a biggie. I mean, would they
Yeah.
show up for that?
yeah. So do we have to list what we want that money to go for?
Yes.
Okay,
But, yeah.
okay. At the public hearing?
However, you're gonna list it on the ballot.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that was our discussion on that one. Consider and create budget for fiscal year 2022. Here we go.
So you have, I gave you the expenses and income kind of from last year. So our tax levy, if we kept it the same, but the tax went up quite a bit, really. So that's why our $8.10 went to $87,000 instead of $82,000. So, and then, so basically, I listed the income from fiscal year 20, this year, or what we budgeted. And so the dark ones are the 87,075 we get for the 8.1. And, so 345 is part of the ag tax. And 13,500, we voted for that max levy, put that up 1,000. Emergency, we put the goal 2.7%, which makes 2,900. Yield?
Just want to say one thing, Danny can't park there this weekend,
He won't.
because we got a funeral on there Saturday.
No, he won't.
Okay.
He'll be done tomorrow. Thank you.
So the emergency tax rate was 2.7, so that goes to 2,900. We raised by 1,000 to 5.21. So, so we're looking at tax income of 111,020. That's what we've already decided on the levies. So, local option tax, I put it down because there's sales tax and road use tax next year. I mean, if we get more, that's super,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I wouldn't get real excited yet.
As to how much we're gonna get, huh?
Yeah, well, it's based on, but with the roads and the gas and the this and the that, and the lost money is for sales tax and, you know. Like, and you can put in there whatever you want. This is just what I threw out. So that's totally, if you want to raise it back up to 35 and 40, it's fine. It's not a, it's your income and you're making your best guess, I guess. Water and utility, I just kind of left them at the same place. The garbage and basically a lot of this stuff, it didn't change much. So so I'd get where we're planning on 587,000 in income. If we go by those numbers, I put. Now, those are totally up to you. I just put them out there for a base to give you.
Why would you want to change it?
Well, I mean, if you think I just put it out
I
there.
have no idea.
Well, nobody does. You know, I know last year they told us for budget planning, don't count on your loss and your road use to be as much. But they could be, they just said don't count on it. So, if you want to be conservative.
That's why we went down a little, right?
Yeah. So and we'll have to amend, well, this year's budget, if we get, get loan proceeds, we're gonna have to amend this one. And we're gonna have to amend expenses too, to cover the derecho costs. So, so the 21 isn't real accurate because you haven't counted in either. So your expenses, you probably got to amend that your expenses are going to go up 250 or 300,000, you don't know yet. And then your income, if you get a loan, you might, but we can figure that out. We have until April to amend this year's budget. So hopefully by that time have a good,
You should know how much money you're gonna borrow or whatever.
yeah, and what the bank will, I mean, it might just have to just be what you find out, but you'll have to borrow. Right now, we have like $50,000 left that isn't like assigned anywhere. So when you look at our balance, it looks, oh geez, it seems like we've got plenty of money. I was going to put my clerk's report. But you just have to remember that you can't use any of the water and sewer money, can't use the capital money, can't use the independent
We
bank
got all this
account.
money, we can't even.
Can't use it, no.
Doggone.
So basically, yeah, it's getting to be a, bad day, sorry, not trying to be rude.
When you say we have 50,000, that's like water and sewer, and that has to be designated to water and sewer
Right,
type
you
things.
can't mix those funds up.
Yeah.
So basically, your general money, we have like, there's an ambulance, a fire department, streets, road use tax, but all
Basically
those.
50,000 you can move around. The rest is spoken.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
And all the rest is assigned to a fund,
Okay.
so. And even though you'd like to, you can't,
Yeah, you can't take water and sewer money and put it towards FEMA. It has to go towards water and sewer.
Right, yeah, that's the only thing.
On the roads and sidewalks, that 257,000, is that,
The tree cleanups in there.
should that be separated from roads and sidewalks?
Well, that's where it, like tree removal, roads, that's all under that, public works, and that's.
Yeah, but I know, but on our other sheets, he said it needs to be a separate line item, like the emergency fund.
Yeah, and we have that, like for my clerk's report, that, it'll be a separate line of its own.
It just
but-
does, this is just for our
Yeah.
information.
Right, and, well, the money, like, it's emergency money that we had to take care of all the trees that were down and clearing the roads and the sidewalks. So it went to that expense, but the money is.
But we know how much of this was derecho cleanup and how much was
Yes,
street
it's like
cleanup
on
or
the,
snow removal or.
right. Like, at the end of January, the money for the derecho was, the emergency, it was $202,000 in expenses. So,
So we took that 202,000 off of that 257 number. The rest of that fund
would
was
just be what your normal, yeah.
What was it, 202 what?
20295. But it'll, you know, it's gonna, but that's kind of the difference between your expenses, but your expenses come out of all these funds. So, that's why when you're doing it, you know, you kind of, because we had $36,000 in the expenses, but they came out of all of our, you know, what is it?
Different accounts.
All those different accounts, yeah, funds, so. So if we, I don't, we got questions, you know, or this information, you can have another meeting, you can take it home and look at it. And these, none of these are in stone here. And nothing, I didn't do anything, I guess, on the expenses. I was just, I did like the tax money and then kind of threw some numbers out there for the other stuff. But the tax revenue is solid. And the rest of it, you know.
Is that a misprint on fiscal year 2021, of only $1,100 for street lighting?
No, it's all, oh, I'm sorry, yes, it's 11,000, I'm sorry.
For year-to-date, you mean?
No.
Well, it budgeted was 11,000 and year-to-date we spent maybe 500. So it probably won't cover it, sorry. So that. Oh, I put it in there wrong, but the amounts. The total amount is right.
The 92,000.
Yeah.
That's weird how that happened.
Well, I think I was just plugging in too many things at one time, probably. After a while, you know, they start floating, so. But this income stuff is just kind of based on what we've actually had. In the past. Expenses are, I mean, your fire and police, I mean, all of that is relatively steady, but.
So that's 70,000 right too for other, it was always 25, and all of a sudden 70 for
well,
last year.
this is like, is it one? Yeah, that's like other city government.
I know, but why was it a $50,000 jump from?
I don't know.
Just 70,000 just seems like an awful lot for others. Especially when we've only spent 7,000 year to date.
Right. Well, and I don't know if there's some plan to work on the buildings or something.
You know, that city buildings would be, is above that.
Right, and there's other city governments, so I think some years might have gone over on the other city government because like, maybe I did that wrong, I mean, that's possible, I can't work that out, for sure. But I
You're
looked-
questioning city buildings, right? That was your question?
Well, there's
No,
city
the other-
buildings, and then there's the other is other city government, which kind of is a catch-all for, you know, anything, So I don't know if we plan to. And that might be wrong. I might be giving you the wrong.
And the ambulance one doubled too when you look at between 20 and 21.
Unless I put the name. Oh, the other, that's probably the transfers in, the $70,000.
Let's say a match is transfer in, yeah.
Yeah, the transfers in should match the transfers out, which were 70 and 70, I apologize. And basically, that's not money we lose or gain. It's just like you move money from one fund to
Money
another.
move around?
Yeah, and so at the end of every month, well, it moves money from the, like the bank accounts, and it moves money from them to make it look right for the ambulance and whatever. And if your ambulance going into a general fund rather than a check, I mean, it moves those, and if we any general fund transfers are like, if we give the 15, 750, and 20,000 to the library, we transfer that from the general fund. So we're not losing that money, but it's moving.
Oh,
And so they
it's just
want to
going to a different
track what
account.
moves, yeah. And we're always wrong in that. You know. Like the transfers in, we've actually got $150,000 instead of the 70, so that's where we have to amend. That's why we'll have to amend this year. Then we transferred the money from, I put it in emergency fund, then we transferred it to the FEMA fund. So that transfer is going to show up too at the end of the year.
Parks expense should go down because there's no project planned up there, and it was high last year because of that project.
Right, right. And so the park actually, oh, there's some monies that got moved because we got the insurance money. And so that had to be transferred out of the emergency thing, that's where I just put it. So the park has money in it because they gave us money for repairs. So the balances are gonna be,
Did we fix the roof of the,
No, that's what they're giving us money for,
okay, that's so we have to do
so
that.
you'll have to budget that in.
so yeah, so the playground, but it parks are on the playground, actually has a balance in it, because the insurance money went there.
We gotta fix that roof.
Right. So whatever was paid for, we had 5, 6 separate checks, whatever they paid for went into the fund that you repair them out of, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
So like if the tractor needs fixing, it'd go into city maintenance, road maintenance or something,
So where do we start? Our biggies?
Wherever we like.
You can't do anything with police, it's theirs, that's a flat
That
fee.
expense, yeah.
At least they haven't raised it.
No, that's a good thing. So some of that budget the fire department and the library both gave us a budget that they like. When they put it in, like, the fire department wanted 15,000 from the city, the library wanted 20,000 from the city. So that's what they requested. So, it's gonna be hard.
So, but if we drop those and we do get the FEMA money to pay off the loan, right, and we have,
Yeah, that would be your budget, that would be when.
You amend.
Yeah, when we
And
would
you
amend the
can-
budgets, and then if you chose to give them, but can you promise them those monies if we don't get a loan, we will have zero property.
yeah,
So,
yeah, we won't have anything to offer anybody.
well, yeah, just everything will shut down.
That's if we don't get a loan.
Oh, we have
Right.
to get a loan.
Yeah, we have to get a loan,
That's
but,
right. If you
okay.
didn't get a loan,
okay,
we spent $200,000 out, and we don't have that money to put
Yeah.
back. Therefore, the money we use to operate
mhm,
is, we might not even make it to the end of the year, we might,
yeah,
but then there's something to finance next year.
yep.
But we just borrowed that money out of water and sewer. Did we not?
Or what?
To pay the, to pay.
We haven't moved any funds, we took that negative balance.
In the emergency.
Yeah, and so we're using the funds we currently have to cover those monies we paid. But you can't continue to do that because the city doesn't have the funds that keep
Correct, but I thought we were
that
gonna
up.
pull part of that money and borrow it from water and sewer since
I
there
don't
was,
know that we
I thought they said we could, we just
From
had
the
to pay it back
private.
as a loan. I thought that's what we were originally gonna do, is we were gonna borrow that, it was just a loan. This way we had money in our general fund still.
Yeah. And, well, the water, since we bought that radio read, there's about $27,000 extra out of water that we didn't budget for.
Just send the radio read back, and then it'll come down to get it running for you.
I'm
So is that a question we asked this guy Thursday about
radio read?
borrowing from,
Well, because if you borrow from water, if you borrow, in light of there's 100,000 and 110 in water and 155 in sewer, if you can borrow from both of those, 75,000, that puts you back fine standings. If we can do a loan until the loan comes through, there's plenty of money, and you don't have to change your budget then, because you're actually $220 over what we were last year. If our expenses come in the same way. And our income, the way this sheet is, you're 587, 523, and you're 587, 720.
But you're gonna go into, remember your 200,000.
Correct, but if you
Yeah.
borrow,
You'll have to check to make sure on the proprietary funds, but you also have to remember the loan payments are gonna be made in May. And so that takes, the sewer doesn't even, the operating,
correct, the sewer
Yeah.
doesn't cover it, but it's already, part of it's in the SIM fund already.
right.
I mean, you have a portion of it that will be there. And if you borrowed it just until the loan came in,
and we told him April 1st.
and you just start
So-
taking it to 350,000, because 250 is not gonna cover it.
Okay, well, we
You
didn't,
don't have the final two bills yet.
we didn't know, we just said
No, I
250,
just said you don't
so,
have the final two bills in yet.
Yeah, and that's what we told them also, that, that's what, we told them what was there. Our
yeah,
bar
Yeah.
spent,
What we
No.
spent already.
Yeah.
but that it wasn't finished.
yeah.
Because I originally thought they said we could take 50 out of each water and sewer as a loan. And then once the money came back in, either through FEMA or through a loan, you paid back, the money went back into those
These are
accounts.
loans.
it was an internal loan.
Right.
If you can do the internal loan and do an internal loan right now, which I think you can,
Well, in essence, that's what we've done.
not if we're in the black right, or in the red right now with that.
We haven't moved the money out of the fund. But those monies probably were used.
Correct, but I think if you do it where you actually show the borrow, then it'll just pull the one down, but it'll leave you in black in the emergency fund. I mean, yes, you're in the hole, you've spent the money, but it leaves your general fund back where it should be for operating.
$266,000 out of, that you have in priority refunds right now, so that would, right? So that would leave them at 60, and I know about another 30 is coming with water. So as long as there wasn't,
Correct. I'm not saying you gotta take it all from there, but if you borrow it from there, it lets your budget work until a loan comes in, then you're just gonna have to tack a loan fee on the water bill or tree removal. That's the only way you're gonna pay for it, you're gonna have to buy that loan out by whatever.
well, you can't take payments for general obligation out of your proprietary fund. So you can't add money to your
Correct.
utilities. What you'll have to do if FEMA doesn't go through is get a general obligation.
Current general obligation bond, yes,
Right,
but it's still
and
gotta be
then
paid for one way or another. unless-
Yes, and then you'll have a levy. So I don't think you can take it out of the proprietary funds for payment.
I thought when we originally asked about, that's what they told us to do.
Really?
You
But
called
they're
Lee
back.
and asked him about that?
We'd have to ask Lee, but I thought they said we could do an internal loan. We just couldn't take it from capital improvement, we could take it from,
Well, capital is an issue because of the loss.
correct, but we couldn't take it from there, but I thought they said we could take it from water and sewer if there was money there. The
Well, we
internal loan, we
can
have to put
check.
the money back.
We can check with that guy, and then we can call League of Cities, and we could call the lawyer that ICAP provides. So we've got different ways to make sure that'll work. So, and at the end of the day, this money in the ambulance, fire department, library equipment accounts, that doesn't exist for us to spend. That's their money, so
Correct.
it's included in the total. So there's 110,000 in their funds that would come out of our ending balance too. So then you take out the capital pool and, but we can check on that. I didn't know we could do proprietary funds, but we can check. And it was like, if you want to move water from water and sewer, they're in the same.
Correct, they're in the same.
Place. Yeah.
I thought we asked about that when this all first got started.
It might well be, and I don't remember, because I lost
No, it's,
time. So I'm not
But
gonna
we can check and
say,
make sure, you know.
right, we can ask
Yeah.
again.
Positive, yeah.
And I'm not saying, I'm saying I don't remember. And I could have been right there sitting there, and I still might not remember, because I lost a lot of time. You know. Peace out.
I mean, I don't think you can make a decision on pulling money from anybody until we know that it's gonna be a 20-year loan at 4%,
Yeah,
and what our payments gonna be.
but we probably won't know that by the time the budget is,
Correct.
needs to be in. So. we get
When's the
money
budget
in,
gotta
we-
be in?
The 15th of March. So I guess, yes, there's your sticking note.
Yeah.
And we'll have to know by April to do the amendment for this year's budget. And we'll have to amend this year's anyway because of the expense part of it.
Mhm.
So I suppose you could just leave next year as a normal year and then see what happens.
Well, you could pull right now, I hate to do it, but you could pull the money from the ambulance fund in light of we really don't have a full crew to even run. It is turned into a first responder unit.
Well, so the ambulance fund has 65,000 in it and
That's their
58,000
personal,
of
I'm
that
saying
is
what the
their.
city gives them.
Oh, just not the 750.
If you were not gonna do that, if
7,500,
everything
yeah.
came through, you could give them that money back.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, we have one person to run that ambulance right now. And I think it's licensed wrong right now where they can't even move unless there's two. You have to relicense that rig right now. So if you were gonna pull something, I mean, you could pull that with the stipulation that hopefully we can give you that back. Or you're gonna pull 5 from fire, 5 from them, and 5 from the library. With the stipulation that we'll try to give it back to you if you can. But
Well,
that's
that's
gonna
what
give
you're-
you a little bit of a cushion to
yeah.
make the loan payments to start with. Because even interest on 200,000, all you pay is interest, is not cheap.
Ten percent would be 20,000. We hopefully won't be that bad. I know. Well, and, I mean, until you get that process started. That's why it's hard. That's why I said, and that Marty would come and talk to the council also, before the March meeting. And we could have that, but we still have to have the thing published. That's our,
You gotta make a decision. You're either gonna sit on it tonight and have another meeting so you can have it published next week, and you're gonna have a meeting Thursday, Friday, or whatever, Monday.
well, we can still turn it in next week. and
Correct,
we
that's
can
what I'm
have a
saying,
meeting
is
on
you
Mar-
have
March-
the-
A quick public hearing on March 12th and, but, you know, plan for 15 minutes and then do a resolution to adopt it. It wouldn't be long.
Mhm.
No, but I'm just thinking you're gonna have to have a couple meetings in the next couple weeks to make this happen.
Can that money be pulled later? Say we wanted to do that.
Well, we could amend the budget, but you just as well tell them to not do it up front.
now.
Well, I don't think we have a choice, do we, to cut them? And then in hopes till we give it back?
Well, it might be an easier pill to swallow if we do it later, maybe, you know, and give them their money. And
Yeah, but then they're budgeting on it, planning on it, they've gotta
Yeah.
remake their budget.
Yeah.
I'd rather know that I was short up front
Yeah.
and get a kicker in the middle of the year.
I would hope all of them would understand.
Well, as far as the ambulance, there ain't too many people that have to understand that one, because there's not that many people involved with it.
Well, and, I mean, the first, it was, they weren't getting any city money. And then they got 15,000, then they're somewhat confused about that. And then, I don't know if they got 15,000 for 2 years or just 1 year, I can't remember. And so, I mean, yeah, if you don't have it, you don't have it either, that's,
Mhm.
and you just have a hard time knowing what you will have or won't have until, like you get your general obligation bond with the payments next fiscal year, you know, then you could probably go back as normal for funding, because your general obligation bond will make the loan payments, and just your residents are gonna pay more money for their property taxes.
And piling your stuff on the curb and making the city pay for it.
And there's that.
On garbage, you mean?
All with the trees.
Trees,
Yeah. Still comes out
yeah.
one way or the other.
Front sheet. I mean, really, the three you can take it from, I mean, that's the only place you can take it from.
And what would the total of that be? 20, 25,000? If we took,
35,
if you took it all, I mean,
42.50.
you're saying if you took it all.
yeah, maybe 42.50. But here's the thing, I mean, the ambulance, like they said, never get it before, I hate to take it from them, but they do have 65,000. And the library has 55. And the fire department in their personal checking account has 21. And the ambulance vehicle fund has 19,000 in it of money that they never spent in the last couple of years.
Right.
So I mean, they're, you just can't, I mean, there's nowhere else to pull from.
And if we pull that in order to make the loan amount lesser,
No, you're just doing that to make the payment for a year,
Yeah.
while you do a bond or figure out the FEMA's not gonna pay it, or.
yeah.
All you're doing is trying to make 1 year's worth of payments, and if you can't get a interest-only loan,
Yeah.
you're still screwed.
And he'll be able to tell us more Thursday, right?
I would, oh, yeah, Mark, he can direct us and, yeah, I mean, when I talked to the guy at the state who helps cities with their budget, whatever office of management budget or whatever it is, OBM, but, he said, you know, well, you have to get that general obligation thing by April, and I said, well, you know, we don't know, and that's the issue with doing a bond too soon, because if FEMA comes through and you do a general obligation bond for loan, for debt, and we don't need it, and you've already got it, it's complicated. It's complicated.
But if we take their money and we get it, then we can always give it back to them.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but if they've got all this money anyway, they're not using it in the first place. We need it.
I wish I could say I had a better feel about the FEMA money, but every week seems to be, we lose ground because we're having issues with getting logs and daily logs and details and stuff, but that's gonna bite us in the butt. But we're still working on it, and hopefully we can just keep
So-
moving forward.
What, they ask for something and then they want something else?
Well, mostly from our contractors, you know, it's not really, he's being as patient as can be as far as.
We did a time and materials, so by doing time and material, they wanna know who was there, what was there, where you were at, and how many hours you were there. I mean, they wanna know you worked on the tree
Yeah.
at corner of Davis and Third for 4 hours, there was 5 guys there, this piece of equipment was being ran by this person, and it's a lot. I mean,
And the contractors didn't write that down.
Well,
they have
got
some of it,
invoice,
it's
they
getting
got-
it's getting it into the form of how FEMA wants it.
But they gotta then match that with the invoices, and the invoices are pretty vague, and, so it's just trying to nail down the details. Hopefully we don't wear out our patience and his patience. Because we still got another guy after this guy. So,
Well,
it keeps going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was.
This
the
guy's
final
trying to
bill.
help us get our ducks in a
Right.
row, because he says the next guy ain't gonna be near as friendly.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah,
So-
so he's trying to help us get our stuff right before the next people even look at it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the next people are the last people?
I don't
We
know.
don't.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I hope so.
Or you'll be losing people here around this table.
I was gonna say.
There are too many more levels.
Yes.
It's been a fair cap.
Yeah.
They just don't wanna spend their money, that's all. it
Well, I
is.
mean, they pay people $40 an hour to keep from paying us too, you know, so.
Well, and they've been hosed over so many times by inflated bills.
So we'll just keep plugging away at it.
That's good.
Well, we can, I mean, if you wanna like, look at it and think about it, come back with more questions, we'll just meet again,
We
or?
can meet again Thursday. Well, I'd like to meet again Thursday anyway to
Share with.
share with what we found out.
6 o'clock,
Yeah,
that's the day after tomorrow, right?
I don't know what day is it, to be honest with you, I'm not real
Yes,
sure.
day
Yep.
after tomorrow.
Yeah.
The
No,
18th?
the
Yeah.
18th.
Yeah. Day after tomorrow.
Yeah, the last Wednesday.
Uh-uh. Well, then you can call the league people and find out if you can
Yeah, do
move our
some of
money,
that.
or do something with that money.
Well, we could move that money, I mean, that's, you could lessen the amount you borrow up front, and then you have to bond for it anyway. If we put the loan down to where we're taking funds from the 3 entities that we can, say you only had to borrow 200,000 up front, and we borrowed, say the bill's 300,000, and you borrowed 50 from water and 50 from sewer internal, then you'd only have 200,000 you'd be paying on. So you might be able to get through until the bond goes through, or until FEMA comes in and says, here, we're only gonna give you 100 grand to take care of this. Now your loan's down to 100 grand. You may be able to do it that way if you can internal borrow.
One other thing with FEMA, maybe it's 2 years. And then you still.
I think you're gonna end up as a bond anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see what other choice you're gonna have.
I think we should just plan on it.
Good one.
I think you better have the paperwork ready to file.
One that, as, you know, have, if we can get it interest only for a year, that'd be great. And also, so if you took out the loan, you'd say no prepayment penalty if you could, because if FEMA
Mhm.
comes through, you could pay that loan and, or pay part of, I mean, you know, you could pay a large share of it and then maybe renegotiate the payments because you're, or that
Balance is
yeah,
not
your
down a
principal
lot.
not as much, so,
Mhm.
but then probably should start talking to your bond people, saying what you're looking at. I don't know how long it takes, I know you guys did it for the sewer, but I wasn't here when all that was going on.
Do you remember how long that took?
I just know there was a bunch of hearings we had to do, I don't remember. I mean, I don't. It went on for over a year, trying to get everything. It's not quick. Maybe this will be quicker because you don't have the engineers involved and you don't have,
Yeah,
I mean,
the process
GoBond
pretty
might
much-
be maybe more, way more straightforward than state reviewing stuff that the engineers are reviewing, the DNR, and this might be way faster.
I
But
guess
still
we're gonna
not
find
something
out
you can-
Thursday morning, aren't
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah. Well, and I know this is a process that is almost impossible when you don't have answers, but the state doesn't care. You know, you still have to file a budget, you don't file a budget, then you're penalized, or they don't let loose your funds, or you don't get your tax, I mean, you know. So.
All kinds of trouble.
Yeah, kind of, so it's just your best, you know, your best thinking and put it out there, and if we have to amend it, then
Mhm.
we'll have to amend it. Get as close as we possibly can.
Well, we already decided we're gonna have to amend it anyway.
Well,
We don't
yeah,
have a
because we don't
choice.
know the loan yet.
Yeah,
For next,
so-
yeah, so the income and, yeah, so, yeah, it's a given. We get the loan in place before the end of the year. I mean, even if the loan didn't happen until July 1st or something, but I don't know, we're cutting ourselves real short.
Mhm.
But they didn't seem like they wanted our annual financial report and our profit and loss. Was all he asked for. There might be more later.
Yeah.
And I can't, if those figures aren't right, I was trying to just make as simple of to show the expenses from the other years and the income from the other years and where we,
That's cold.
well, if it stops, then the cold, yeah. It's not ideal. I guess Tom might move that so it blows on the windows instead of
Yeah.
this way.
It'd be nice of it.
Because I had him move the one over the desk for just me. But,
Well, it blows warm air, and then all of a sudden it gets really cold, I'm like, really?
really, it's cold, comes to that basement, it's horrible. I didn't go down, but.
So what you wanna do?
Do we want to think about it and
Maybe or something during the day, because I won't be
Here.
here tomorrow, but.
hear what he's got to say Thursday morning? And I'll talk to some more banks. I'm guessing all these other banks are gonna need the same thing,
I would guess.
so. Is most of that done through email? Can you
Oh, I can scan it, or
Yeah,
I can take a copy up there, that wouldn't be that big a deal, but
Yeah.
probably not till Thursday. But it's the same, their concern probably will be, we say we're gonna get FEMA, if we don't, we're committed to a general obligation bond levy paid.
yeah,
So, I'm sure, I mean, that's not that far outside of, I mean, it's not an unusual process that
Okay.
cities have to do it,
yeah,
You know.
okay.
unfortunately. Yeah.
So this happens more often than,
Well, just the way things are. Well, an emergency like this, no city can plan for
yeah,
Wipes off
2/3
your-
of your budget being
Wiped out.
emergency. Yeah. There's just not a huge reserve. It looks like a lot of money, but it all belongs someplace, and that's where you can be misled by that total.
do you wanna make a decision tonight? Do you, what's everybody's thoughts? Businessman?
Wait for somebody else to give their opinion.
Well, Tom did. Waiting for two more.
Well, we can't. Gotta get money from somewhere.
Exactly. Nope.
Move to date for, do another date and wait for more information.
We could do Thursday, we can vote on it.
Because we can do it Thursday, right? We still have time.
I can ask her to hold it. I don't
And then you send it in Friday morning?
Yeah.
For the
I don't-
budget you're talking about?
Yeah, it's gotta be
the
published,
newspaper.
right?
Yeah, they want it by noon,
On
what
Friday?
day?
Thursday,
Oh, Thursday.
so not really, no.
So what okay, here's,
On the 18th?
Yes,
you want it
to be
published, if you want it
published on the
in the paper.
23rd.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta
So-
have it in there almost a
Tuesday.
week ahead of publication.
so what if we meet, what if we all meet with this guy Thursday and do our budget after?
Yeah, but I have to enter, I
Oh,
can't do
okay,
it that
okay,
fast.
okay, I'm just,
Well-
I was
I'm
just,
sorry, I can't.
no, I was just,
I don't see a reason why we can't leave it like it is. If we take the fire department money, we take the ambulance money,
in the
and
library,
we take all or part of the library money with the expectation that if we don't need it, we can give it back to it. But we'll just budget without it.
yeah,
That would kind of be my thought, especially if we need to vote. And that gives us a little, hey, we feel strongly both ways kind of attitude, you know, it's there if we need it, which we, 95% chance we're gonna need it. And then we can hear the screams and the hollers and,
Yeah, because this
and I'm
is-
sure there's gonna be,
Yeah, well,
but they also have to understand. It's not something we wanted to do.
I mean, even if we took 10,000 from the fire, took the ambulance, because they're kind of self-sufficient, and then 10,000 from the library, and that's close to 30,000 there. That's,
not making a statement.
yeah, that would be a start.
Yeah.
And then it leaves them a little bit of seed money, I guess. I don't know, that's just. Something to think
Candy,
about.
Cindy, what's your thoughts on that? So that'd leave nothing for the ambulance, 5 for the fire, and 10 for the library? Is that what you said?
That's, yeah, that's kind of leaving them a little bit, but if we're gonna need it, you know, I hate to just wipe everybody out.
Yeah,
Ambulance, they really haven't needed
Yeah.
our money anyway, so that one's, you know, I think they'll be okay with that. What, and then Cindy, what do you think? You're with the fire. I mean, what,
You know what I think? I think it's about time we start looking at the money that goes to the pool every year.
You can't touch that, we can talk about it
It
all day
can go
long.
on, but it can be put on the ballot for future.
Correct, so we.
That's what
can
we
talk
were
about it,
planning
but
on
you
doing
can't-
anyway.
You can't do
But we
anything with it
can't.
right now, so it's irrelevant to even talk about. It's, I mean, that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
It either goes back to the citizens for a vote, or it stays how it is. And I,
and that's been discussed.
Well, that I understand.
but that's in the
But I think-
future, we
But
can't
that
talk
you
about that,
can't-
this
you
is
can't
right
touch
now. We can't, we aren't gonna change the pool situation, we're gonna,
You can't borrow that $20,000 out of there.
No.
It's because it's lost money, it's designated fund.
Right.
so,
1% sales tax went to there, yeah.
so what happens, say the pool doesn't open this year, I know we're off the subject here. What happens to that money?
was in the account, nothing.
Just stays there.
It just stays there?
They'll know.
Just stays there. So that's why we need to put it on the ballot.
Yeah, well, I know we already discussed that,
They're
so,
sitting at, what is it? They're sitting at a good amount of money right there.
well, I say we open it this year and not charge anybody and just burn the money. Find some
That's still not gonna
lifeguards.
get everybody up there.
Yeah, all 2 people that go there.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but if you open it free, I think you're gonna get people from other communities, and who knows if Conrad or Eldora is gonna open. You gotta burn that money somehow. Do you want it to sit there for,
If it goes on the ballot. you
Well, if
just
it
say
goes
that
on the
move
ballot,
money.
you
oh, you can
Yeah.
move it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it just sat there.
Yeah, we'd
Okay,
have one
sorry.
big pool party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then some.
How about after hours? How about after hours?
Are they gonna wait?
When the kids are in bed? You bet! I've been known to do that at times. No, I should, gosh, this is being televised, but never mind. Okay, I'm trying to find humor, you guys.
So I don't care. For something we have to have done by Thursday, this is.
Then, I don't know, I guess I like Tom's idea, is just, do you need to go?
Well, I could go home with Tom now, he has to go back and get me. So, he has
I
to
can
go.
take you home too. I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah,
I
I
can take
mean,
you.
I don't,
You want a step stool?
I'll go talk to him, and if somebody will give me a ride home, that'd probably be nice.
I'll give you a
Which direction do you live out?
Pardon me?
Where do you live out?
By, the Eldora Airport, do you know where that is?
I live in Eldora, so I can give you a ride home.
Oh, okay. I have, 2 miles of gravel.
That's fine.
Okay.
I like Tom's idea. You thinking the same thing, Alan? Or are you thinking less?
No, that's fine.
So that was $30,000.
My
Yeah.
dog's sick, and they took it to Des Moines because she thought she needed an operation, now they're just.
So,
Ka-ching.
and obviously, it's not something we want to do, we just don't have a choice.
Yeah, anyway, there's just, your choice. We could just set in a budget, but making a commitment of the funds is where you might run yourselves into.
Somebody need keys?
Cindy,
Yes, sir.
thoughts?
Gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, it is what it is.
And nobody wants to do it, but
Candy?
No, I agree with Tom, I think we should take the money.
And the only other thing I say is that, or, it can't be less than that, I don't think. It'd have to be that or more, you know. That's what I would feel comfortable with, but if the fire department can go without anything from the city, take all their 15,000, take the 7,500 and take part of the library. I mean, there's any kind of combinations that you can get, I just don't think you can take less than all of the ambulance, because they're pretty
they've
self-sufficient.
got enough money right now to,
Take 10, I just don't think you can take less than that from each one of those. Can the library sustain if we took $1,250 from them? Maybe, or leave them a little seed money. Can the fire department do okay with nothing from the city? Or leave them $2,500, or, you know, I just don't think you can take less than 10 from the fire, 10 from the library, and all of the ambulance.
So we
Personally.
get $30,000, right?
Well, you get 27.5
175.
If we want to target at 30,000, then you have to take another bite out of everything, you know. You have to about take all of the fire and,
So how come the park is so high?
That was the insurance.
the insurance money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they put it when, you know, we slammed it all into that one fund to be distributed when we had a handle on it. So the insurance money went into the funds that you would pay the repairs out of.
Oh, I see,
So
okay.
that's what happened there.
I see.
So that's kind of like a little bit of found money there, you know?
But we made all the repairs, can't we take the,
Well, they go into the fund for which
yeah,
they
so
were
we
paid.
can't take it out of it.
Yeah, if your insurance goes for that fund for repairs,
Yes,
then
so
it
we
goes
can't take
into
that out
that
of it.
fund, yeah.
Okay,
But it might make our general look a little better. And we've got the tax monies coming in. So I guess, you know, you just gotta look, don't overcommit and you can always amend, but it'd be more fair to tell your, if you're
People that are
gonna
not gonna
change
get
your,
it, yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yes, you need to tell them. So they can, in part, amend their budgets for next year.
Make a motion to cut 10,000 from fire department, 7,500 from ambulance, and 10 from the library. The anticipation that FEMA comes through, we will give it back to them.
Okay, roll call, Tom Bass,
yep.
Alan Donaldson.
Yes.
Andrew Clemens is absent, Cindy Clemens,
Yes.
and Kenny Wade.
Yes. You get that?
Yes.
Okay. And we're still meeting Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Adopt resolution 21-01 first.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can do that, we'll be taken care of. Because I actually can't submit the budget until this is taken care of.
Okay, resolution 21-01, approval of FY 2022 maximum property tax dollars. Whereas the City Council of the City of Union, Iowa have considered the proposed fiscal year 2021 city maximum property tax dollars for the affected levy total, and whereas a notice concerning the proposed city maximum property tax dollars was published as required and posted. Whereas a public hearing concerning the proposed city maximum property tax dollars was held on February 11th, 2020.
Oh, I need to.
No, February 11th, 2021. Now
Well,
there's,
actually, it was February 9th.
Oh.
I apologize. This is,
oh,
I can write it up. Let's
It's-
correct it. We'll correct it to February 9th, 2021.
you want February 9th or February 16th?
No, well, our regular meeting.
Oh,
was when we
February
had
9th.
The public
Okay,
meeting was
yeah.
held that night.
Okay, so February 9th, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Union, Iowa, that the maximum property tax dollars for the affected tax levies for FY 2022 shall not exceed the following total. Total maximum levy for affected property tax levies, $104,516. The maximum property tax dollars requested in the total maximum levy for affected property tax levies for FY 2022 does represent an increase of 104.25% from the maximum property tax dollars requested for fiscal year 2021.
Does that read right?
No, that doesn't read right. It
No.
should be
4.
4.25%.
Yeah,
I apologize. I didn't do very
so,
I will rewrite it and show it to you, so we know the corrections I need to make. I will make them.
so motion, somebody needs to make a motion.
That we table
To,
this till.
no,
No, that we
No, I'll make a
approve.
motion that we adopt the resolution with the modifications made, with the
Corrections,
with
yeah.
the correction made at
Corrections.
4.25%.
Second.
oops. All right, roll call, Tom Bass,
Yay.
Alan Donaldson,
Yes.
Andy Clemens is absent, Cindy Clemens,
Yeah.
Candy Wade.
Yes.
Pass and approve this 16th day of February 2021.
Oh, because I meant to have it.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you just use the former one. So I'll redo this,
You want-
we'll check it, and then we'll send it.
Thursday night.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
So, and you are meeting Thursday night
It's 6, yeah. We'll have
Or
a,
can you do it any earlier than 6, or does it have to be at 6? Well, I guess that only works.
Whatever.
He's the boss, he can just come every time. Right.
must be nice.
at 6. Well, that would, I mean, 5 o'clock is nice for me.
It doesn't make any difference, I
It
just,
just depends if I gotta get Berkeley.
That's true.
just leave
No,
it at
it's
6
6.
is fine.
Well-
Yeah, no big deal.
We can do 5, I just might have her with me, if nobody objects to that. I mean, she just run around.
Well, that's good.
Well, with any luck, I don't know, Dennis has a doctor's appointment, so maybe he'll be able to get her. So, well, how about we go 5 o'clock Thursday? We'll just do it for 5 Thursday.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna leave this, see you Thursday, Tom.
Yep.